Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sports Insider with Sportcat. We are doing a special show tonight for one of my old friends back when I used to be out and fit and able to do stuff instead of being an old man locked at home. But enough about me. First off, I need to thank the Parapost Network for allowing us use of their broadcast band. We are live on Yerg's Radio. Let me put the phone number up there if anybody wants to call in. Thankful to Yerg's Radio for providing us that in the airwaves for yergsradio.com. If you can't watch, you can go listen live. Or if you have a question for me or one of the hosts, the guests, whatever, 1-888-88-YERGZ on your phone pad. The chat is open. The phone lines are open. And my beautiful cohort is backstage. So let's, without further ado, Demi is a good friend. Well, I can't say good friend because she moved across the country and left me. But when she was on roller derby, she was with the Atlanta Roller Girls, hence why I'm wearing the shirt and still fit into it. She was one of the key players for the Atlanta team, and we became friends, and we've been friends ever since. And now she moved off and left me. Hey, Demi, how are you?
He'll make it fine on his own. Just smack him around.
She knows I still have Beth to beat.
Did anyway, yeah.
Yeah, she knows Beth keeps me in line. So, so Demi, you moved all the way out there. Are you still doing derby, or?
I am not active at the moment, but I'm involved in roller derby out here, and with the Rose City Rollers. Their league is a wonderful league. I'm happy to be a part of their staff, doing sponsorship coordination for the that we're hosting the 2024 global championships this year in Portland. So I'm helping out with sponsorship through that.
Awesome. Well, I guess we should also, some people aren't familiar with roller derby. You could explain kind of the basics to the fans.
Roller derby is a full contact sport on roller skates. There's offensive play and defensive play. You have 1 point scorer from each team on the track at a time at the same time. The two teams are basically trying to get their point scorer past the other team, because each team player you pass, you score a point, and then also at the same time they're trying to stop the other point scorer from passing them. Hence, some defense.
Oh yeah, it's offense and defense at the same time.
Yep.
It reminds me of like a weird combination of like Quidditch and hockey, but without the balls.
No balls.
Yeah, there's no balls in derby. I remember when the first time I came I was the team medic for the Atlanta Roller Girls. Actually, the way I met was I was out on injury from DeKalb. I think that was when the roof had fallen on my head, and so I was out on leave, and I was at the old stadium in Stone Mountain, and she was the I can't think of her name. Kim somebody. She was calling. Is there anybody who knows any medical stuff? And I'm looking around going, I'm the only one. And so I got up, and I can't remember what. It wasn't even major, but they were like, Can we have your phone number? We'd like to get in touch with you. And then from there on out,
we from the first game on, we tried to make sure that we always had a medic. And it ended up being you for a very long time. Yeah. Me and Randy.
I loved it. In fact, I did it all through my career at the fire department until I started flying, and I was never home. And then I just kind of got separated. I should get hooked back up with the team now that I'm.
Yeah, they're playing at Agnes Scott College now. It looks like a really great venue.
Looks like they have a lot of fun. From a coworker today, it's either in Oak Hill or Fayetteville, which is about 20 minutes from where I live. Apparently, they've got a group of roller girls too.
Huh. Yeah, Fayetteville, if I'm remembering correctly, is one of the first places that we practiced. Was at a rink out there in Fayetteville, and starting in 2004.
Okay. Well, you're probably in Fayetteville, Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, are you in
Fayetteville, West Virginia?
Oh well, never mind.
Well, it's funny, you could have still went with it, because down in Ansted, which is still in Fayette County, there is a roller rink down there too. So you could have just let me run. I believed you.
We drove all the way up to Virginia for our first practices. Yeah.
I drove.
Maybe it was just a really good rink.
Yeah.
I remember I rode with y'all to Huntsville. We went to Knoxville several times, which was great for me. I got to know the girls there, and I ended up, when I was visiting my family there, helping them out.
Yeah.
And then where did we go? Cleveland, I think, somewhere way up in Ohio.
It was Columbus.
Columbus, yeah.
It's either Columbus or Cincinnati that's way up top.
Yeah. We also went to Cincinnati as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I made the Cincinnati, but Columbus I did. And that was, I remember at the time, to me, the sport was just growing, or I was just learning about it perhaps, but it seemed that it was so much bigger when we got up there. Of course, there was more teams, but yeah, it was like, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah. Were you part of, did you go with us to any of the, like, because our governing body, the WFTDA, the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, we would have basically a meeting once a year that was, all the leagues represented under the umbrella of the whole league. We would go and kind of like work out rules and regulations and things like that. And I feel like we had some of our like staff go as far as like medics and stuff like that.
I think that's where I met he's an actual doctor for the Chicago team. I think that's where I met him, and we exchanged a lot of medical information. So yeah. I'm pretty sure I did.
HIPAA violation, sir.
No, a HIPAA violation was I had a stack of medical reports from Derby I found a while back, and I'm like, oh, shred those. So, yeah. My wife works at Kaiser. She just put them in their shredding pile. But yeah, I was like, whoa, I'd forgotten all about these.
So what got you into wanting to start doing roller derby?
So in 2004, I had moved to Atlanta in 2002. I believe it was 2002. And around early 2004, a friend that I had moved there from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my friend who had we packed up her dad's truck and moved all of my stuff and my cat down to Atlanta. She helped me down there. She ended up, we kind of lost touch for a minute. And then I saw her in a tattoo magazine that featured roller derby. And I was like, what is this? And I, read all about it. And then I got in contact with her, of course, and was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh my gosh, it's roller derby. You would love it. You'll have so much fun. Try to find something near you. And like the next day I saw a flyer at Junkman's Daughter in Atlanta. And for someone named Tanya Hyde, looking for, women that wanted to play a full contact sport. And so I went to the first recruitment, and the rest is history. We're actually celebrating our 20th year this year, 20th anniversary of Atlanta Roller Derby.
Wow.
So, yeah. And at the end of this year, in September, at the championship game, the retirees of Atlanta are going to play against the third place team.
I have to whip some butt.
So I will be there
for that. I might show up for that to be the medic. So
you might have to.
That would be funny. Bring the medic out of retirement.
All us old gals are going to need a medic.
I might not be able to get across the track quickly now. So.
Yeah.
Just crawl like I do whenever I'm trying to ice skate, and just get on all fours and quickly shuffle in that direction.
They had I was probably one of the reasons they instituted a rule, because when I saw somebody went down hard, I didn't wait for the whistle or anything. I was to my girls. My girls meant everything to me, and I think I made a rule that I had to wait till the official blew the whistle before you could go on the track. So, because I didn't care if I saw somebody go down, because I knew a lot.
You always have to assess the situation.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had the team over to my house for when my 40th birthday party. There was I don't know if you were here for that, but yeah, and that was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, we were friends. It wasn't just it was like a little family. So yeah,
definitely a family for sure.
Yeah, I remember when Reba got injured so bad. She was the one that I didn't wait any time I was out, like knocking people out of the way to get to her. So we've called the ambulance and hauled off quite a few. So it happens. It's a full contact sport.
Yeah. We're lucky to have friends like you, though, that'll help us out.
Oh, well, to me, when I first started, it was kind of like, I don't want to call it a job or a hobby. It was kind of like, why am I here? But then after I get to know you all, and because also the cool thing is the after parties. So that's when you kind of get to know everybody the best. And so we hung out, and in fact, Kevin and I went to Knoxville. He's got friends up there. We drove up to see the Vols play. Either I get tickets, or Kevin Stevens, or he'd get tickets, and we'd drive up and see the Vols. So we were always doing something together. It was a lot of good times. Lots of good times.
Yeah, that's what I always say, is that, like, I mean, from every little bit that we accomplished and scraped together, and all of our blood, sweat, and tears and everything went into the league. And I'm so glad that it still exists and that it's thriving. And we just did some really cool things, and I've got friends for life, that changed my life. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and it's been amazing. And I love that I can still, contact so many people through Derby, and be, we're all still a part of each other's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was there was a lot of good times, and you got to play for other teams too, didn't you?
Who did I play for? Now my memory is gonna. No, I think Atlanta was the only. I played on the home teams. Yeah. I played on, the All-Star team.
Yeah, I know that.
And traveled and everything. And no, I when I came to Portland here, I started. They have a rec league that's really fun. That's kind of like, if you don't want to be completely engulfed in having a home team and all that kind of stuff, you can play on the rec league, and still you can kind of come and go as you please, and you can be asked to put on a roster if you wanted to for a game, but you don't have to, so it's very very open ended and stuff, and so I kind of mess around with that for the most part here. Yeah,
I think I started getting worried when they had the men's leagues forming. I saw that's full contact sports on wheels.
Yep. And they do the men's leagues are great. I mean, they've really they've progressed, and I love watching the mixed team play, when everyone plays, and I love that Derby has changed into a very all-inclusive gender fluid, kind of completely accepting of anything, and everyone can kind of play each other, and it doesn't really, like, I haven't seen any, if the men play the women, it's gonna, they're gonna get hurt. It's like, no, everyone plays equal, and I think that's great.
Oh yeah, I was more worried when the men versus the men when it first started, because the rules were just starting, and but
it was just like when we started too. It was very, I mean, come on, it was not safe.
Oh no! I remember some of the tryouts. I was like, this girl's never going to make it past this tryout.
Yeah, you got like a half sheet of paper with the rules, and now it's like 4 3 ring binders.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was probably only a page of rules when we first started. I mean,
it really was. Mm-hmm. And then it just evolved. Like we tried each year to, everyone kind of got together and was like, okay, what worked and what didn't work this year? What do we want to, bring into it? And I really like what it's evolved into.
Yeah, it's great. And as far as safety, it's done nothing but continue to improve with the safety part, as far as
Absolutely. So, yeah.
In fact, you all were the ones that sponsored me to go to UGA to take the trauma for head injury class.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I went to that because that was only open to like athletic trainers and the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks, the Braves. I was like, wait a minute, time out. Yeah. And I had you all write letters and got me in there. So yeah, it was a great class. And so yeah,
and we needed it.
Yeah,
we have a lot of head trauma.
Yeah, there was, and that was what you made the comment about. You could have an interleague or intermixed. That's one sport that I think it would definitely be equal, because you're on wheels, you're moving fast. I'm a big fat guy. I won't move so fast, so I'd be a blocker. But you know what I'm saying? I think it would be equal. And so, yeah.
It's for all bodies, which is good too.
Yeah. All bodies to get injured. Well, you left us and you moved away to Nashville, and there you had your own business for a while. You still do. You do some specialty stuff that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So when I still was in Atlanta in 2010, I just started messing around with, I wanted to make some chocolates, and started kind of messing around with that and
what kind of chocolate are we talking about?
I'm sorry?
What kind of chocolate are we talking about?
All types. So I ended up, like, now I do lots of confections, like bonbons with like praline centers, caramels, ganache centers. I do like some fun little sculptures for certain holidays, and I had so when I ended up working at a shop in Atlanta, I really got to hone some skills and figure some stuff out. And then I finally left there and moved to Nashville and opened up my shop. So I had Chocolate Effects. What started it all out was I had originally gone to school for special effects makeup. And I was helping at a studio apprenticing at a studio in Atlanta. And the owner there just kind of, like, I told him that I was trying to make chocolates and what I kind of had this idea of making like monster chocolates and stuff. And he was like, well, there is a mold making, material that is food safe.
I was going to say, there's a lady I watched on Facebook, who I'm sure it's on Google, but she did all of the special effects, but food-wise, for the show Hannibal.
Oh, uh-huh.
So she was showing how to make, like, fake supposed ground beef.
Oh.
And it was amazing how realistic all this stuff looked. Mm-hmm. It was all edible, but it wasn't actually what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I really I liked the idea of doing some fun like monster chocolates, and hence the name Demi Gore. I love all the, anything bloody. So once I kind of figured that out, and started making my own molds, and just went from there. And so then opened Chocolate Effects in Nashville, and had the shop there for a few years. It was great, a lot of fun. I loved it. And then ended up moving into, overhead with a shop kind of gets a little much. So I shut that down and then moved into basically doing seasonal chocolates. I would start doing, started working with some artists that I knew, and they would do, like an image, a really cool like painting or whatnot, and I would get that printed onto like a tin and have those, special made, and basically do like a special edition box, that I filled with the chocolates. So it was like art on the outside, art on the inside, and did only like limited amounts. So once they kind of sold, they're done and that's it. And yeah, so they kind of became a really fun way to, keep Chocolate Effects going and be involved in like more artistic, endeavors, and really doing like some fun stuff to get the, like there's only, 200 boxes available. So once they're gone, and they're never going to be printed again, so it's like, get your, really cool limited edition item now. And, so it's been a lot of fun. I still do that here. I did, there's a farmer's market down the road, that I did last year. It was kind of like a setup every other week kind of thing. I did that in the winter, and that was fun. A lot of rain. So I wasn't doing that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to kind of like, bring it out to
different options out
like
there,
bring it out to a whole new, like, people were like, what is this? I was like, well, that's what I do. And yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of you make really cool stuff. So I've always been a fan of it. Now that also you were, I don't know if you were like me, I was a comic book geek growing up, reading like Spider-Man, Batman, and stuff like that. But I know eventually you transitioned with your artwork into meeting comic book artists and stuff. Mm-hmm. Were you always into comic books, or was that something that just happened?
I mean, I've always loved art. I've loved artists. I've always been into lowbrow art, stuff like that. And I was never like one to go to the comic book store and pick up a book, but I would always, like, if I was at a bookstore, I would see like graphic novels and stuff and be interested in them. But yeah, so when I met my my now partner, Eric Powell, and he started telling me actually what he did, and sent me some books, because he lived in Nashville, I lived in Atlanta, and he sent me some books, and I got to kind of dive into his world, and it's been a lot of fun. I fell in love with his art, and going from there, I've kind of been able to find other artists that I really like, and other books that I think are gorgeous and love reading, and so yeah.
Okay. I very much understand that to a T. It's pretty much the same thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
Cheyenne got suckered in by an artist too, so.
You don't have much of a choice but to kind of learn the way that things work.
Yeah. Once I started, kind of going to conventions with him, then after a few years, he decided to start his own publishing company again. He had his own publishing company years prior, then was with Dark Horse Comics for quite a while. And we've gone, then he wanted to do his own publishing again. So he started Albatross Funnybooks. So from there, I had more of a role with him, like as far as just helping out behind the scenes, talking to the printers,
Same exact thing here.
setting up at, making sure everything, we have everything for conventions, and San Diego Comic-Con is always huge every year. So we have a booth there, and that's kind of like a,
bless you all for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
We were just looking up on that the other day because he was like, it just seems like it'd be so fun to go. And I was like, yeah, but I said, we gotta consider all the airfare and how expensive the hotels are out there. And I was like, we're gonna have to like plan that a couple years in advance.
Yeah, I mean, we have a booth, so it's more of like we have to be there each year. Because also, if you decide that you like, say we didn't want our booth next year, you get like pushed to the back of the line. Or so, right now we're kind of grandfathered into that spot. So it's like,
so basically, is it like something you have to pay for every year, or is it something? Oh, yeah. So you pay every year to keep this like grandfathered spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you pay every year for the booth. But if like, if we missed a year, then we would basically be shit out of luck for having a table again. So we just make sure that we're there, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but we like going and seeing, all of, he's got a bunch of artist friends that like kind of we don't get to see all the time, and other publishers and stuff like that. And I like being connections. I like being behind the table. I don't have to be out in the crowd and walk around. I can just like, I do my work. I try to sell the books. Yeah. I don't have to be like in the like craziness of it all.
I'll be sitting here pretending like I know what I'm doing.
I would love to go as a fan. I think that would be the coolest one.
I mean, it's a lot of work for even a fan. I can only imagine, because it's got to be over a mile long, like the building. And so you're walking from one end to the other, and like in and out of like aisles and stuff. There's a lot of walking for sure.
Our co-worker or our co-writer for our book is getting all his plans together to go, and for 4 guys having to share 2 king-size beds was gonna be like close to 15,000 or 1,500. My brain is just. I told Travis the other day, I was like, yeah, your dad spent $12,000 on a washer and dryer, and he's like, what? And I was like, oh, 1,200, sorry.
And she works at a bank. That's the scary part.
It's after hours, okay? I don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to
think about that part.
It's fine.
We haven't been out to cons in quite a while.
Yeah, we only go to a couple a year. Just making sure it's always, there's some really great ones out there for sure. And now so Albatross Funnybooks has now moved. Basically, we are now an imprint at Dark Horse. So it's still Albatross Funnybooks, and it's still Eric's publishing company, but we are now under the umbrella of Dark Horse. So that's been a fun, transition back for sure.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah. For them
in
the comic book
cool. I mean, they have a very far reach, and good program and stuff. So
yeah,
pretty freaking awesome.
Have you got to meet oh god, I'm drawing a blank here. Walking Dead, Kirkman. Have you got to meet Kirkman yet?
Not personally. I haven't. Eric's definitely met him before.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. I was just because I would probably be fanboy with that because
we are. We're also friends with Tony Moore, who he was the first artist on The Walking Dead. So he's definitely, he always has his thing going on and stuff. So it's Kirkman has he has got a far reach now. Yeah.
Well, he does, and I'm impressed with everything he touches to gold. But the most important thing for me now is he's brought the Transformers back. And that was what I grew up on. That was Spider-Man, the Transformers were the two. And now that he's got that, I am really fanboying over him. I mean, Walking Dead was cool because it was a Georgia thing, cool. But then when that happened, I'm like, how did he manage to get that? Yeah. That was amazing. So
I'll just show up to peek my head around the corner and glance at Todd McFarlane, and that'll be as close as I get. Yep, got him.
Yeah, we're always just kind of immersed in our own thing, and
with that many people, you have to be.
Yeah, and
tell us
Eric's done really well with his books, and the Goon. I don't know if you've heard of the Goon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's what Eric's mostly known for. And we're celebrating. This is the 25th anniversary of the Goon this year.
Wow.
So it'll be. Comic-Con will be a lot of fun. We'll have some, really, cool new 25th anniversary items and stuff like that. And it's been a lot of fun planning this year.
You're making me feel old because all these things that seem like I loved when I was young and now 20
and
years.
Now they're all having years long anniversaries.
Oh, what happened to us? We got old. How the hell did this happen?
I know. Happened too fast.
It did. And I don't know how you feel about it, but there's no instruction manual.
No.
It really
I mean, flying by the seat of her pants.
Yeah. It sucks. So I don't know if you know, I left flying. I had developed a disease where I couldn't fly anymore. And then so I was sidelined for a while, and now I went back to the fire department. And I was in it for 5 years and got attacked and taken out by a pit bull. So I'm back on the sidelines.
Oh my goodness.
I've had these ups and downs in my career. So,
man,
yeah. Well, I mean, thankfully I'm lucky to be here, and it wasn't anything major. But yeah, it's just it seems like as you get older, weird things just start to happen, and it's like, where did this come from? So,
well, I mean, getting attacked by a pit bull isn't really the thing that most.
Remember in the morning, your parents would just fling you out of the house and say, I don't want to see you until evening. That's adulthood.
Yeah. Well, no, the pit bull, she come up from behind me and got me. And it was nothing like, we trained all the time. I tell everybody this, we trained all the time for, people coming at you with knives, guns, whatever. Mm-hmm. I could handle that, but we never trained for animal attacks. But she came up from behind, and just like you see on, the Discovery Channel, they get the old, slow, fat one, which was me. And, well, I mean, I'm just being honest.
Which one looks meatier?
So, but I don't think she was, it wasn't nothing like you see in the cartoons or the TV where there's this growling, it was silent, total silent. But I feel like she was trying to pull me away from the patient because she thought we were hurting her owner. That's what I think.
That actually is entirely possible because our last dog that we had before she passed away was a good bit of pit bull in her, and she's very protective.
Yeah.
If our other dog was, me and her were messing around and we'd start getting rowdy, she'd come sit, and it was like she would be telling Sheba to stop, and she was very protective over Travis.
Yeah, and I think her owner was having a seizure, and there was a lot of confusion. Fire trucks, ambulances, everything.
Yeah. They can sense that kind of stuff too. So
yeah, and so that's why I think, because it could have been much worse. I mean, it was bad enough I lost a lot of use in my left hand, but it could have been much worse. I could have been like fingers or arms. So
I know, yeah.
Yeah. And I look at, and I've treated kids that were attacked by dogs, big dogs. So it definitely could have been a lot worse. But so I'm thankful for that. But I'm still here and still kicking. That's what got me to doing this, Demi, is I was bored at home doing nothing, and Beth said, "You better do something. You got to do something." So,
you're driving me crazy.
Got too much useless knowledge on Bigfoot. Go do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah. Well, I used to go out in the woods I still do, go out in the woods looking for Bigfoot. Still haven't got him, but one of these days.
But you got to come up here. This is Bigfoot country.
When I flew up there and would stay, we would occasionally overnight there, and I'd talk to the locals, and it was almost like he was their neighbor. Everybody knew Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, you mean
I actually lived, so when I was after I graduated high school, I moved to Northern California, this little town called Arcata, and it's where Humboldt State University is. It's like 4 or 5 hours north of San Francisco. It's about an hour south of the Oregon border. So I was there for quite a while. And during at least one of those years that I was there, I moved 40 miles inland to Willow Creek. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Willow Creek. It is basically like there's a movie called Willow Creek, and it's about Bigfoot. And it is like it's a tiny little town. And all it has is a pizza place, a gas station, and a Bigfoot museum. So
that sounds like
we were definitely in
like Flatwood.
Yeah.
Sounds like Flatwoods around here. They've literally got like a gas station, probably a Dollar General, a really crappy diner, and a museum dedicated to the Flatwoods monster.
Yep.
Yeah, the guest we had on last night was like, "Oh, well, it's all been proven to be a hoax." And, yeah, I'm just letting him say that's his opinion. It's cool. Come out in the woods, please. After a while, you'll learn there's other things out there besides us. So,
but I feel like the only accurate solution for him to be would you guys go out there with him and just strategically leave.
That's called bait. I don't think we're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
that might be illegal.
Some of them were fighting words, so.
Yeah. He has lots of varied opinions on comic books too. But at any rate,
we're wrong.
He's writing a book on comic book stores of New England. And it's like he's writing a financial type book, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Then I'm going to ask you this question, Demi.
Okay.
Do you think that, like, comic book shops and places like that sell comic books, they're all disappearing?
Unfortunately, I think a lot of comic book shops are closing down at a higher rate, especially since COVID, unfortunately. But, it's like we hear all the time, we try to keep in touch with a lot of shops that we know, carry our books, and they're all really great. I hear it's like you'll hear that, oh, comic book shops are dwindling, but then you'll hear like, oh, comic book sales are up, like, at this much, this year, and it's like, okay, so what's happening? Is it because there's not as many, and then those shops are getting more business, in terms of.
So his theory was that because through New England there are 11 comic book shops, that means that the comic book shop population isn't decreasing.
Isn't decreasing.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not true.
Thank you.
I mean, there used to be I think there was a comic shop locator, like website type of thing.
Yeah, there was an app for a while too. Yeah.
Yeah, that at one point, pinpointed, I don't remember how many thousands of shops, but that definitely has gone down, in the last 6 years, unfortunately. But yeah, it's interesting because we've done, we haven't done it in a few years, but for a while there, we were doing, it was a retailer summit that would be under Diamond Books. They're Diamond's one of the main distributors of books. Yeah. So we would always be at the retailer summit, you know, and it's always interesting talking to the actual owners of the shops and
the bigwigs.
Being like, yeah, like how they're doing, how they're feeling, what are they, you know,
what are they doing to make this not happen?
Yeah. So that's been interesting. Unfortunately, we haven't been since before COVID. So there, you know, there has been shift. I know that some of the shops that we've talked to, like, did a lot of outreach during COVID, like a lot of, like, you know, no contact delivery and stuff like that. And like, it seemed like kind of like the word around town or whatnot was that, like, you know, because people were reading more during, you know, shutdown and stuff like that. So comic book shops actually, like, you know, could do okay if they push themselves to do so.
I think too, because again, I'm just speaking for being with my fiance for 12 years, who's a comic book artist. You know, he gets so irritated because these comic book stores have basically turned into like game shops. And he's like, yeah, you know, it's great to go through all the boxes and boxes and boxes of all these old comics. He goes, but I want to see the new stuff that's out.
Yeah, there's
and I do give props to Walmart for starting to carry some now.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's neat, but I think there is the theory that there's a resurgence, but it's more of a resurgence per se of like collectible stores that just happen to sell comic books.
Yeah. I mean, I know that like some of the shops that we've been to have really tried to keep, you know, it's kind of a dynamic. There's shops that absolutely 100% only carry DC and Marvel, the two big publishers. You know, it's like that's all they carry. They don't care about anything else, and they don't want to like promote anything else. Then there's, you know, the shops that are really into, like, you know, independent comics and you know, people that are like, you know, they own artists that own their own, you know, properties. Yeah. Sorry. I'm like losing my thought there. Yeah. And so like, it's been, you know, it's interesting. I think it feels like there's more and more shops that really want to, you know, push and introduce newer artists and have more of a, you know, diverse, you know, offering.
Like, you know, I am by no means an expert in any way of anything comics. You know, I just you know, you can't help but to gather that knowledge along the way, and I'm just like, where are you getting your info at, buddy?
It's
you're pulling it out your booty.
It sounds like from isolation.
I had some questions. I was thinking about that too, but I was just like,
speaking of, that was one of the things I wanted to ask. COVID, of course, changed the world. I mean, it changed pretty much every career, everything you could imagine it touched. In the artist world and in the, call it intellectual, do you think that increased because people were at home more and they discovered, maybe I can draw, maybe I can do this?
Maybe. I know that, like, you know, a lot of, it's like comic book artists, you know, like Eric, he worked from home anyway, you know, so that wasn't much of a, you know, transition. But I do think, yeah, there are a lot of people that kind of picked up a new found love for, you know, there are some people that are like, I drew every day and now I really like this and now I want to, you know, have my own book and you know, so
And,
yeah, I can see that might have happened.
That time was really hard for, all those people too that were, they're going to cons every couple of weeks, and that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend like that in Virginia that he goes every weekend to a different show somewhere in the Northeast. And it was rough for him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But he's bounced back. He's doing well. I'm trying to think of the name of his comic. I need to have him on. It's a werewolf. It's more geared and oriented towards children. But it's popular on the East Coast. But
sorry, you probably hear my cat yelling through the door.
Oh, mine
was a kid. It sounded like a kid going, "Mom,
where's dinner, Mom?"
Pretty much is.
No, yeah. Well, I got grandkids now, Demi. It's scary. I didn't think. Well, you remember my son Kyle. Kyle used to come with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's expecting their second in August.
My gosh!
Yeah, I know. I know. So we're gonna go. And he's in Vermont.
Oh wow!
He told me. He said, "I want to." The girl he married wanted to see snow, and so he said, "All right." So I started looking for places that were up north. He lived in Vermont. He calls me one day, his first year up there. I guess it was last year. He goes, "Dad, they're expecting a small snowstorm." I said, "Oh." He said, "Yeah, 4 feet." I'm like, "That's small?" He goes, "Apparently."
I'll find out.
Treat him to one of them good old nor'easters up there.
Yeah.
But he loves it. He's happy up there. He's got.
It's like Vermont is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, me and one of my high school friends went up there and helped him move, and I had never been in that part of the country before. It is gorgeous. In fact, when we crossed into Vermont, I forget the name of it. It's the Green Mountain Highway, but I don't know what number it is. Mm-hmm. And the way the sun was hitting it, there was people pulling off of the road. It was like the mountains were emeralds. And we pulled off the road too and was taking pictures. We were like doing the whole tourist thing. It was gorgeous. So.
Yeah.
Shoot, living up here, I still do the same thing. Like, oh, okay, hold on.
Oh, yeah. We have a good, on our block, walking down, we have a really good view of Mount Hood. And every time, it just amazes me every time. Like, I won't get sick of that view at all. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I want out of Georgia so bad. I want to go back to Tennessee so bad. Well, I mean, I miss it, but I don't know. I'm torn. I also like the beach too. I'm getting old. I don't like the cold weather.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm the southern heat. I don't know. I don't really miss that, but I do miss warmth.
Yeah. We've already started. We hit a triple digits already this year.
Have you? Yeah.
Today is terrible here.
And the humidity hit quadruple digits. So.
I was
out camping a few weekends ago and I was dripping. I was like, this is crazy. So.
It'll kill you around here because, like, Monday was probably a good 50 or 60. And now today it was like 90 to 95. And I'm like, it's no wonder I feel like crap today.
Yeah. Like make up.
That's why I like the mountains of Tennessee. It's usually, I mean, they get warm, but it's usually pretty consistent. So
yeah.
So are you in charge of the WFTDA, or what do you do for?
No, so I'm working with Rose City Rollers. They're hosting the WFTDA championships. So right now there are 5 different regional tournaments happening all through this month. Atlanta plays their regional tournament next week, I believe. And so each of the top teams from those 5 tournaments all go to championships. And that's where we are hosting here at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in November. So I'm working with them, with their sponsorship team, to help bring in sponsors for that event.
Okay. You're hosting the Super Bowl, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Is there a cool trophy for it?
There is. It's called the Hydra, and it's a big skate on a track. It's really cool. It's been the same for the last,
Please tell me there's a little button and out of the top of the shoe, Red Skull pops out.
That'd be great, but no buttons.
Ideas for next time.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think I was involved when we ever went that far, but
yeah,
it'd be cool.
It's been really great to see, because the tournaments right now, it's like there's teams from 2 tournaments that just happened. One was in Australia, so there's teams from Australia and New Zealand coming, and then there was also a tournament in Malmo, Sweden, which was the European tournament, and so the top teams from that tournament are coming here, which are like Sweden and Toulouse, France, and then I don't remember who got 3rd place. But yeah, it's like it's so great that there's teams from like Thailand and Costa Rica, and it's just it's worldwide, and it's amazing.
So you're hosting not just the United States championship, you're hosting the world championship.
Yeah.
It might as well be the Olympics.
Wow. Yeah. You've got to have your hands full with that.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun though. Working for roller derby is, kind of a dream come true, really, so.
You got a couple dreams there. You've worked in the comic book industry, and
I know, like I have 3 jobs now, basically: chocolate, comics, and roller derby, which is I'm good with all those.
Sounds like a fantastic combination.
You're not working. You're having fun, loving life. So.
Trying to, yeah.
November. You said November is when it'll be? It's
November 1st through the 3rd.
Okay.
Yep.
How many games are you going to have in the 3-day period? That's gonna be
there's 13 teams that will come from all of these different tournaments that are happening, and trying to remember how many games that equals. I think it's up in the, I think there's like 20 something games that are going to happen all through the weekend. So it's a big event, a lot of fun for sure.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, I do need to get back. I need to find out who the contact is here. I've lost touch with so many people. So
yeah, it's easy to just reach out. You can find any of them on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I keep up with a bunch of them still. But no, I don't know. I don't know that I know anybody playing right now, to be honest with you. So
yeah, there's a couple. Did you know Merchant of Menace?
It doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. She might be the one that's been there the longest for right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Is Tanya still involved?
Tanya lives in England.
What? I did not know that. All right, because I will see her on Facebook. I don't know if she's on there, but I don't see her on there.
She's not really on social media much, but yeah, she lives in England. She's a little seaside town, and I totally just blanked on the name of it, and she's gonna get mad at me for that. But
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, she loves it. I talk to her at least once a week. And she's coming out for the game in September.
Awesome. Yeah. Tell her I said hello.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, she was one of the ones, and I can't remember, it was the green team. It was Kim.
The Toxic Shocks.
Yes. It was Kim. She was the captain for that team the year I was drug in. So yeah. Well, Atlanta's got what, 5 teams now?
No, there's 3 home teams, and and I think they have 3 they have like an all-star team, the B team, and I think there's one more team that kind of plays every once in a while, but they're all still made up of the home team players, so.
Is the Athens team still doing pretty well?
I am not sure if Athens is still. I feel like they are still going, but I haven't heard much about Athens. Yeah.
Georgia Tech formed their own for a little while.
Yeah, they still have. So at the championship game, so the retirees that want to opt in to play, like myself and Amelia and Tanya, there's a bunch, there's a good handful of us that are going to play in that game. But what they're going to do is, if we can't fill a roster with the retirees, then the Georgia Tech players are going to come and be on our team. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I would love to see it get into the collegiate level. I
think that'd be great. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I play disc golf now. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah.
But there's collegiate disc golf teams. Why couldn't there be I don't know, unless they'd be worried about injury, but
yeah,
you can get injured playing any sport, really. So
it's true.
Well, Demi, I don't want to keep you all night. I love you to death. I appreciate you for doing this.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
You too. We need to keep in better touch. I'd like to get you to come back on closer to the end of the year when you're getting ready to do your thing. Of course, you'll probably be busiest then, but to give us an update.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'd love to.
And also maybe right around Comic-Con time too. So
I could maybe do after. Give you afterthought. Yeah.
Well, what was the name of the TV show? Oh gosh, Kevin somebody. He had his own comic book store, and he used to do the comic book. He showed all the different things that went on there.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. He's Kevin Smith. Yeah. So I miss that show. It was a goofy but fun show. So.
Oh yeah, I remember what you're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's actually.
Is does he own a comic book publishing company, or he's?
I think he's involved. I think he's got like a book that he does, or he might have like a little like an imprint type of thing with Image.
A short interview with him the other day, and they were talking about something like that. But of course, after just watching it, I wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
I think he always wanted his daughter Harley. I talk like I know him, but I've listened to his shows to watch him on TV, and it was. And then after he had the heart attack, it was fun to watch. So
yeah.
It was fun to watch him getting better. I don't mean that as a paramedic.
Right. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I guess I want to clarify in case somebody sees this in 6 months. I wish he would die. No, not at all. So in fact, he would be one of the ones I would fanboy over too. So
that was part of that interview I watched with him talking about, like, after that, he was just like, man, I just don't give a crap anymore about what anybody thinks about me. He goes, I almost freaking died. Do you think if you don't like me that it's gonna?
Yeah.
And he died on stage. I mean, that was the medics did a great job with him, but he was died on stage. Can you imagine that for his family and everybody? Oh, it would have been horrible. So.
Terrible.
Demi, Albatross, tell us where we can get the stuff. I want you to make sure to.
Yeah, you can go to albatrossfunnybooks.com. We've got our whole library up on the website there. You can also find Albatross books at darkhorse.com. darkhorsecomics.com, I believe is what it would be. You can find us on Facebook under Albatross Funny Books. Also Instagram, we're always posting fun stuff through those, and a lot of fun
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you come.
Mom, you better feed that kitty cat.
Yeah, feed your kitty. Go feed your. Yeah, it's dinner time for y'all over there. It's late
the
here.
So. Doesn't matter here.
The cat is agreeing.
I know.
Have a wonderful evening. We'll chat soon. And I'll put all the contact information in there for everybody to get up with.
Please. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And make sure to tell everybody you talk to with the Atlantic Roller Girls. I say hello. If there's anybody that's still involved, you could probably drag me into coming out and being a medic again. So
maybe just
I need to do something.
You should do something in the games. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I should. What was always different as a fan after I watched, after I was involved, it was different as a fan because then I still wanted to.
Yeah.
Randy, I don't know if Randy's still taking care of him or not. I think he may have retired too. So
sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he has. So because he moved to Colorado for a while. So
yeah.
So but he's back. He's back in Gwinnett. So all right. Well, Demi, thank you, and we will talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks, Demi. Appreciate it. Bye. That was great. It's like, well, it's. I feel like, like I said, we're not best friends or anything, but we've chatted and kept up with each other, and I think that it was good times. So, anybody that, and I would highly recommend roller derby to anyone that's in semi-decent shape. And you're good on skates. I'm neither, but
I like to skate when there's no one else in the ring so that I don't look stupid.
Yeah, well, that was funny. There was, I think, only once maybe they talked me into putting skates on. It was ugly. It was very ugly. They thought they were going to need a medic for me. So
no, it's all right. I'll tell you what to do. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't skated since I was probably in high school.
That was like me. I took my niece and one of her friends ice skating and just fell right down, and there's probably like a 6 or 7 year old kid walking me through how to get up because I'm on my hands and knees laughing, and here he comes skidding over in like a hockey jersey, and he's like, "This is what you gotta do," and I'm like, I was like, just give me a minute, because I was just like trying to get out of the way.
Well, it's like I was telling, there is no owner's manual for getting old, and I don't think you do it gracefully, even if you try. So I've ended up being that old guy walking in Radio Shack. So
just
all right,
don't start pointing and yelling at kids on your yard.
Get off the lawn! No, I haven't done that yet. Not yet. All right. Well, tomorrow is Flag Day, and we also have a show tomorrow called the Grid and Guardian Show, and we have a great guest, Tina with Triple F, which means
fierce or fantastic female firefighters.
There you go. I'm letting you say it because I'll forget. So I get tongue-tied. So we got that tomorrow at 9, and then Saturday, we haven't scheduled it yet, but we have the Misfits. What are we doing on the Misfits?
We are doing movie and music reviews.
Oh.
Gather up some of our maybe favorite, more obscure movies and give a little tale about them. Same thing with music.
I'm down for Disco Duck. So
as long as you play us a freaking song tomorrow, then
there's YouTube will get on us, but there's a slight chance that tomorrow on Flashback Fridays you might hear some classic disco songs. So you have to tune into the thinlinerockstation.com to hear it, where I do Flashback Fridays from 6 to 11. And then, of course, come back and watch the Grid and Guardian show on tape delay. So everyone, please remember to like, follow, share, and subscribe. And we will see you tomorrow about this time. Oh, yeah, and I want to thank, before we go, I want to thank YergsRadio.com for allowing us the use of the phone line and their airwaves. Ross messaged me and told me that we were welcome to go live anytime while we were broadcasting. So I appreciate him for allowing us to do that. And I appreciate the Parapost Network for allowing us use of their sites. And we will see you all tomorrow night.